Hey guys, Kristin Levanway here, live in my backyard. So, yeah, I was hoping today that I would be not at home, that I would be out somewhere because I have total cabin fever. I've been stuck in my house all week with the flu bug, and I thought it was better, but now apparently I'm getting some kind of fun bonus round. So yeah, I'm still housebound. I got out yesterday, which was great, but apparently I'm just gonna stick it out today. So anyways, I thought I'd at least get out into the backyard, get some fresh air, and rather than sitting in my desk. And so here I am. So I hope you guys are having a great week. This flu bug, I felt I was getting off early, or getting off easy. It was mostly a respiratory thing, and it wasn't fun. But you know, that once you get past that, I feel like I want to die apart. You know, it's not bad. You just sneeze or cough or whatever. It's fine. But now I have like a stomach aspect. So, anyways, whatever. The good news, I'm trying to look on the bright side, and I feel like I've completely shed any extra pounds I might have gained over the holidays, because I've been living on chai tea and cough drops all week long. So maybe that's why my stomach's upset, I don't know. Anyways, hey Bob, sorry, how's it going? How's the weather in I mean, I don't want to brag or anything, and it is a little cloudy, it's not sunny today. So that's a bummer, but boy, it's nice out. It's been really nice weather. We had a little rain, but you know how here in the desert we're like, yay, it's raining for like a couple of hours, and then we're like tired of it. But what's your weather like out there in Tennessee way? I hope it's nice. I hope you're having a nice mild winter. So a couple things I wanted to talk about besides the flu bug. I have actually some really important topics to talk about. First of all, I thought this was some good news. You know, the interest rates have been going up over the last few weeks, and I pick one index to track just so I can keep track of it, because you know, when you go apply for a loan, it depends on what your situation is, what interest rate you're going to get. So they're all over the map. So I just picked the Freddie Mac index to track, so I can sort of judge. You know, okay, it went up or down. It's a constant index. So as of this week, the end of this week, we're at 4.12% on the Freddie Mac index, compared to last week, which was 4.20. And at one point it was in the 4.3 range. So that's nice. It's come down a little bit. Is it going to keep coming down? Probably not. Interest rates are just super low, and they're just, you know, the writing's on the wall. They're not going to stay low forever. But for now, that's good news that they're down a bit. But even better for FHA borrowers is that the mortgage interest rate, so that's the insurance rate, mortgage interest, the mortgage insurance rate has been reduced by 0.25%. It'll be effective at the end of this month. So that's great, because anybody who borrows, from using an FHA loan, and if they put less than 20% down, then they have to pay mortgage insurance. And for the FHA, it particularly sucks because they don't let you off the hook. You're pretty much going to be paying mortgage insurance for the life of the loan. So the fact that they've reduced it helps a lot. 0.25% reduction in the mortgage insurance amount, it equates to about a $50 a month savings for a $250,000 loan. So that's like $600 a year that you could save from this reduction. So that's good news. So lower rates and a lower mortgage insurance rate equates to, you know, a lower mortgage payment for you. Now this I just came across. I was kind of scanning through the news sites for, you know, some things to pass along for our little chit chat here, and we've got a new guy coming in for the, all the cabinet positions are new guys, right? And they're all going through their little confirmation hearings. And so the new guy for HUD Carson has been tapped for that. He's going through his little Senate confirmation, and he didn't sound like he was okay with that deduction so much. He's like, we're going to take a hard look at that reduction and see if that makes sense. I don't know why they wouldn't keep it low. It made sense that they had to raise it when the FHA was in such dire straits after the crash. The FHA didn't have any reserves. The FHA is there to insure loans, so they got to have some capital behind them in order to do that. And they just, they got tapped out because so many loans got lost. So it made sense to increase the premiums to kind of repopulate their account or whatever, their reserves. But they're in really good shape right now. And the number of delinquencies is way down, the number of foreclosures is way down, and so there's no reason to not reduce that that insurance premium. So I don't know why they would even be saying that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But we'll see what happens. There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. As the new administration's coming in. So we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But for right now, it looks really good for the interest rates. Yeah, Ronda Rousey. That's interesting. I don't really follow MAA. Is it MMA? MAA? It's not really, my cup of tea. However, I do get updated by these kinds of things from my kids, and so I did see that Ronda Rousey, she did have a bad day at the office. But I don't really know what that, I guess that's the way it goes sometimes. I don't know. Maybe that's just what happens when you get into fights. Sometimes you lose. I don't know. But, yeah, it seemed like that one was pretty short-lived. Anyways, getting back to real estate. So the FHA, that's all goodness right now. And the FHA is a great loan. It's one of the easier ones to qualify for, and it helps a lot of people get into home ownership. So I'm happy to see that right now. That's a really good loan product. When I talk about the Freddie Mac index right now, 4.12, I talked to my my loan buddy Shane, and I said, hey, what are people getting right now for their loans? Like a typical, pretty clean file FHA buyer, what are they getting as far as an interest rate? And he said it's probably around 3.75, so high threes is about what they're actually getting. So like I said, it just depends on your situation, what interest rate you end up paying. Yes, I will say I have 4 boys. For those of you who don't know, my life story, I have 4 boys. And so they keep me updated on the important topics in the world. Things like MMA, soccer, the latest people on YouTube. I have a list of YouTube videos I should watch. They don't try to get me into their music choices because I like the old classic rock stuff. Okay, I'm a beach girl from California. I like my rocker dudes. But so they've given up on that. But there's a lot of good things they keep me updated on. It's deep. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, I just posted a video. My goal this year, and I'm just going to say it, so there's some accountability there. You guys hold me to this. I want to post a video every week. I've done a lot of videos, and sometimes it's hard to get motivated to do them, but I really like it when they're finished. And I don't know, there's a lot of good information to pass along. So that's my goal, is to post a video every week, in addition to doing Facebook Live, in addition to doing whatever else I do. So I'm 2 for 2 so far, so that's good. So I've just posted this one. It just went up here right before I got started here. And basically last week I talked about the fact that I'm no Nostradamus or anything, but statistically speaking, we are due for a recession. It's just been 7.5 years of growth, more than we usually get them every 5 years or so. So there's nothing to be worried about. It's just an adjustment, it's just like a breather. but I think people are kind of nervous about buying homes anyways, and so I just wanted to address that in this video. If we do have a slower economy, and I mean, I'm not going to get political right now. I kind of need to just not think about what's going on right now and all of that stuff, but there's a lot of uncertainty right now as we kind of see how things play out with these changes. So you might be worried. You might be thinking, gosh, I wanted to buy a house this year, or maybe you own a home and you wanted to move up or down or whatever, and maybe you're thinking, well, I just want to wait until things kind of settle down. You can do that, of course, but I wanted to give you some tips to sort of, if you decide to move forward, because there's a lot of good reasons right now to buy. I think more reasons to buy than not. The main one being the low interest rates. Those rates, we've had them low for so long that we forgot what it was like to have like normal rates. 8% used to be 8% used to be good. I remember when it went below double digits. You're like, oh my gosh, I can get 9% interest rate now. If our interest rates were 9%, I think people would think it was the end of the world. So these high 3s and low 4s that we're seeing right now are really good rates, and so you should take advantage of them, because I don't know, they've not been low like this ever before in history. So when they start going up again, which they are right now, who knows if they're going to go back down? I don't know. I wouldn't count on it. So the other thing is home values in Phoenix right now are affordable. If you look at, they've been going up, yes, but not crazy. They've been going up the way they should go up. So if you look at the median home price and the median income, they kind of balance each other out. So if you wanted to buy a house right now, you probably should, as long as it's a smart move. And so I gave you some tips on how to make it a smart move. I'll just run through them real quick, and then you can watch the video, or maybe you already did. I doubt it, because it's only been up for like 10 minutes. But basically, here's it in a nutshell. First of all, you need to have a budget. Experts say your home expenses should be about 30% of your budget. Your take-home pay, not your before tax pay, but your after tax pay, your take-home pay, the amount of money that you actually put in your bank account each month. 30% of that or less should go to your housing expenses. And it could be rent or mortgage, whatever. But if you can stay within that, that's a good target to shoot for. So when you're looking to buy, if you can, plan accordingly, then you're not going to feel so strapped. And then number 2 is a lot of people think, well, I don't want to move again. I'm going to buy a house that I'm never going to move out of. This will be like my forever house, which is a noble thought, and it makes sense, because moving sucks. It really does. It's like pregnancy, which I don't know, I'm only seeing guys right now. Maybe you can't relate to this, but you have a baby, and it's difficult and hard and stuff. Hey, Chris Zucker. Hey, by the way, Chris Zucker, I'm excited to be doing the comedy this month on the 21st at Queens. I really this year want to do more comedy besides these goofy videos. So I really am going to be out there more. But yeah, so if you're in town, come on the 21st to Queen's Pizza. I'll be telling jokes. Probably funnier ones than I'm telling right now. But anyways, my dogs, I don't know where they are. They're bums. They're sleeping somewhere. I'm sure they'll wander out here and start barking at some point, just to be annoying. Anyway, so you right size your house. So what that means is this. I have had clients that are like, well, I want to have the house that I don't ever have to move out of. And that's great. But you cannot predict what every life requirement is going to be. Most people stay in their houses for 5 to 7 years. It's a good window to shoot for. Like, what are your requirements for the next 5 to 7 years? For one thing, that's about as far ahead as you can predict, because, who knows what's going to happen. Really, seriously, when you get right down to it. But after 5 to 7 years, you should have enough equity in your house that if you do need to sell, you need to move or whatever, you should be able to cash out. So that's I think a good target to shoot for. Third, location is really important. Like, people think, oh, I think I want to go and get a house out in the sticks. I can get a big house, or I can get a spread, you know, I can get some acreage and live off the land, whatever. That's wonderful. But if we're looking at what is probably going to be a little bit of a tighter economy in the next couple of years, or at least, you know, this year, at some point there's going to be a period of time where things are going to tighten up. If you really think hard about the best location, that's going to recession-proof you to some degree, and here's what I mean. Back in the Great Recession, people who bought out in the sticks saw their home values go down faster and more. They went down more than homes in town, and they recovered faster in town than they did out in the sticks. So it's just, there's more demand for homes that are closer to schools and shopping and freeways and, you know, all the stuff that people like. And especially now, I've noticed as the Phoenix area has spread more, people are not as likely to say, well, I'll just drive, I don't care. They want to move back in. So there's a lot of activity going on closer in town, even to the point of, neighborhoods kind of getting a resurgence, a renaissance, people coming in and renovating homes and bringing neighborhoods back to life, because it's just better. People don't want to drive 20 minutes to get a gallon of milk. They want to walk to the corner and have coffee with their neighbors. So be mindful of the location when you're choosing your house. It'll help protect you, if things get tight. All right, number 4, I'm going through these fast, is the fixer trap, what I call the fixer trap. So a lot of people, I've had this conversation so many times where you go look at a house, and it's somebody who's looking to buy it, and they're like, okay, they talk about all the things they're going to do to remodel the house. They're going to move the walls, they're going to remodel the kitchen, they've got all these grandiose plans. Or they specifically say, I want a fixer. Hey, Shane. Yeah, you know what, Shane? I felt better yesterday. I'm like at home now because I'm like, I don't think I better leave. I feel like not so good again. Round 2. Sucks. Hey, Michelle. Anyways, back to the fixer thing. So here's the thing that happens with the fixers. Now, there's people that are very good at this, and there's people that make a living off of remodeling homes and stuff. But for most people, here's what happens is, A, you're very busy. B, it costs more. Oh, sorry, Jay. Hey, I didn't give it to you. I believe the incubation period for this is longer. You were kind of feeling not good yesterday, so don't pin this one on me. Just join the fun. You watch my 5 stages of this. You'll enjoy it. And like I said at the beginning of this, I'm looking on the bright side. I put on a few pounds during the holidays. I'm fairly certain they're gone now because I've barely eaten this week. So there you go. Maybe that'll make you feel a little bit better about the situation. Anyways, yeah, the chai tea and cough drop diet, super effective. So the fixer thing, yeah. If you're realistic and you go in there and you know that these are projects that you can take on, then it might make sense. But it's not as easy as it looks on TV. And what I've seen from most of the people that I've worked with, and myself included, is you move into a house and you do a few things, and then that's it. You don't do anything until you're ready to sell it. And then you do those things when you're ready to sell, and you're like, I should have done this a long time ago. But you just don't, because you're busy, or you don't have the money, or whatever. So for most people, that's what happens. So if you feel like, I want to take on this big project, make sure you really think it out, because you may end up, disappointed. And then, if you don't fix the house up and you need to sell it, it's harder. It's harder to sell it. It's harder to sell those fixer-uppers right now. And then last but not least, this is a big one for me. When you buy a house, I think there should be an expectation that you're going to pay that house off. At some point, you're going to own a home free and clear. That's how all our grandparents built wealth. There's a lot of statistics that show that homeowners have more wealth than renters, primarily because of them buying a home and paying it off and gaining all the equity over the period of time that they were homeowners. a lot of people were able to actually retire off the money they made off of their homes. That you don't do that. You don't get to do that if you're constantly refinancing and taking the equity out of your home and using it for, let's just call it debt consolidation, you know, where your credit card got maxed out because you went shoe shopping every week and you can't pay it off, and so you think, well, I'll just take some of the equity out of my house and pay this off. Well, now you know, you're paying those shoes off over a 30-year period, which, oh, the interest rate's low, but not when you add it up over 30 years. It's a lot. So if you're buying a home and you're paying your mortgage payment, it's like a savings account. You know, part of it's the interest, you have to pay that down, but the rest is principal, and that's like putting money in the bank. And the great thing about this bank is that you're not getting like a 0.5% return. You're getting a pretty healthy return here in Phoenix, you know, 3-4% maybe a year, and not just on the amount that you deposited, but on the amount that your house is worth. So if you have a $200,000 house and it's appreciating at, like, say, 3% per year, you're getting 3% on that $200,000, not on the, you know, $1,200 you paid off that year of your mortgage. So it's a super great program if you follow the rules. And you're paying it off, because the more you pay off, the more that goes toward the principal, which is your nest egg, basically. And eventually, if you pay your house off, you're not going to have a house payment, which is the best, I think, recession-proofing that there is. Yeah, there's some areas of the country where maybe the property taxes are huge, and that's a big expense. But in Phoenix, they're low. So basically, you know, that's a huge amount of money that you get to keep every month, and it's going to allow you a lot more, you know, freedom. So that's the key, I think, is if you buy a house, think about paying it off. And not that you have to stay in that house until it's paid off. If you need to move, then take all the equity out of this home and put it in your next home and keep building and building. Because, you know, eventually you're going to get it paid off. If you can pay it off earlier, even better. Now, when I was doing my reading before this little get-together here, I saw some interesting statistics. Right now, there's 39 million people in the United States that owe less than 80% of the value of their home. In other words, they have 20% or more in equity of their homes, which is the highest it's been since 2006, and so a little crash incident. So that's really good. People have equity in their homes now. But right after it said that, it mentioned that there's going to be a lot of marketing out there for HELOCs, which are home equity lines of credit. And that's a good way to buy shoes with your house. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind that when you get one of those lines of credit, or you're taking any equity out of your house, if that equity is not making you money, then you're a fool, all right? You're risking your nest egg for something that's frivolous. For most of us, I don't think that's a smart decision. You know, if you've already got it dialed in, and you know you got tons of money in the bank, and you're just you know, it's just gravy, then fine. But for most of us, that's not the case. For most of us, the equity in our home is our biggest pile of money. So use it wisely. I would think, and maybe Shane, you can chime in on this, that you know, for the last few years, a lot of the refinancing has been for the right reason, for taking a higher interest loan and restructuring it so you're now paying less interest. I did that. I refinanced my house and reduced my payment, and I didn't change my principal. I mean, I didn't take any out. It was just a restructuring of my loan for a more attractive rate. So that makes sense. But if you're taking the money out, for some, maybe an investment, okay, that might make sense. You're leveraging your nest egg. Just make sure that you're not doing it foolishly. You're doing it for, you know, in a good, sensible kind of investment. But the debt consolidation is the one, I think, where people get in a lot of trouble, or people that took money out to buy cars and boats and things like that. So just watch out for that, because I feel like we're probably going to see more of that, since, you know, that's how a lot of people make their living, is by lending money. they're going to want you to borrow money. So just be careful borrowing, the money that's one day going to keep you, it's going to allow you to retire. Hey, Craig Thompson, how's it going? You know what I don't know about this whole Facebook Live thing is, who else has this flu? Because I'm sitting here going, this sucks. I am tired of being sick. I really, really am. I hope you guys are all healthy out there. But it sounds like everybody it's like termites, either you've had it or you're going to get it. I don't know. Hey, Craig. Anyways, I forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. Not an uncommon occurrence. So, that's kind of a nutshell thing that you can watch the video. It's only 5 minutes compared to this long rambling thing that I just said, but oh, there's one other thing. There's one other thing that came up that I wanted to mention when I was doing this. I'm not a person who gets into the whole political stuff. I mostly look at what affects me directly and react to it. I don't like, these nasty political debates. I like a respectful discussion, and I like to hear other people's points of views, but gosh, it's hard to get that anymore. But it's just hard to stay away from it right now because there's a lot going on. I already talked at the beginning of this about the FHA's mortgage insurance reduction, that it might be under review and it might be revoked, given the new if Ben Carson gets tapped. I mean, he's the one who's talking about it, and he's the proposed new Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. But another big real estate related issue that's in the legislation right now is the mortgage interest deduction. So that's actually expired as of the end of the year, at the end of 2016. It has expired, and it can be restored whenever the Congress goes through and redoes their budgets. They can restore it. That's usually what happens. But right now, I don't know if that's going to happen. There's certainly some indications that it won't. And I think for a lot of people, that's something that helps them a lot. For, the average homeowner, that's a nice tax break. And it encourages you to invest in real estate, invest in your community, because there's a lot of good things about owning a home besides financial. Being a really committed part of your community. So I don't really get on my high horse or my soapbox or whatever about a lot of things. But that one and the healthcare situation, which I'm not going to talk about in this format, have made me feel like I need to make that, my opinion heard by my representatives, because I want to make sure that they understand the impact of those items on me personally. I don't know, maybe there's more people that could care less about the mortgage interest deduction on your taxes than do benefit from it. I don't think that's the case. But anyways, if that's something that you're concerned about, I would definitely make your voice heard, because it's been a little bit under the radar. Like, some of these really important issues of a legislative nature have been under the radar from my point of view because of a lot of this sort of, three-ring circus stuff that's been going on. So watch out for that. It's going to be discussed, and if it's something that you want to support, you might want to put your voice out there and make it heard. So the FHA insurance, that's probably not something that's going to be as easy to influence, because it's that's not an elected official's decision, but the mortgage interest deduction is. So just try to be informed about what's going to be happening. And I'm sure this is there's probably every time there's a new administration this happens, or a new round of congressmen or whatever, you kind of have to see how the changing of the guard is going to affect you. But I would watch that one if I were you, that's been talked about, you know, before. It always comes back, but this time, I don't know if that's going to happen. So anyway, kind of quiet. You guys are quiet today. People are, I hope you guys are feeling good. I'm going to be signing off here. I'm exhausted, to be honest with you. So, I think I got cut off anyway, so anyway, I'm gonna call that. Check out my video. I'll be back next week. Next week, man, I hope I feel better. And I'm gonna go out there somewhere and have a fun one. Besides being at home, I have such cabin fever right now. I can't even tell you. So you guys go out and make it a great one. Enjoy this weather, even though it's a little bit cloudy. It's so nice out. And I'll see you next week. Bye.